To go in this period are leading on a 42-yard field goal by Earl Mann. The Bears have the ball on the Raider 31 with a 1st and 20. Avellini on a handoff. The fullback Harper at the 30. Breaking tackle and being pulled down there by 3.
For 3 yards. Brought down by 10.
This play almost never got underway. Walter Payton, it's a simple little reverse. Walter Payton makes a pretty good block on Browning. However, the pursuit is there so fast, the play never really got started.
All that struggling around, they wound up with a 5-yard gain. 2nd down 15 for Chicago on the Oakland 26. Straight drop back for Avellini. He flares it out. Great catch out there by Harper. And Harper's bumped out by number 37, the left cornerback, Lester Hayes. But that was a difficult catch for Harper on that flare and a high pass to him. And we have a tie, ladies and gentlemen, for the American League pennant. And tomorrow afternoon, Mr. Brodie, I'm going to be sitting.
I know where you'll be.
Fenway Park, watching the Red Sox and the Yankees decide the Eastern Division, not the pennant, but the Eastern Division of the American League. Kansas City standing by. They'll play the winner in the playoffs for the American League pennant. The Red Sox, I want to talk about that. An interesting story up there in Boston. I live there. I talk about it. 3rd down coming, 12 to go. The rush is on. Quick flip, intercepted at the 20. Monty Johnson's up with it. He usually drops those, but Monty held on to that one, and he's happy. The Raiders have the ball. That's the first turnover of the game, and charge it to the Bears.
He ought to be happy. He probably gets his hands on more footballs than any linebacker in the game. He calls himself board hands. However, being in position to get to the ball is part of this game, and he covers that position so well. Avellini wanted to go outside to Scott, couldn't, had to come back to Payton. Monty was all over him and took the ball away. Here we go. Not going to let him by this
in there,
time.
Monty. There he is, right in front, perfect position. We'll be back with more Oakland, Chicago football. Atlanta was trailing the Giants 14-0, rallied. Haskell Stamback scored on a 9-yard run, and Atlanta upset the Giants 23-20. That's the final. Terry Robisky, outside he goes for yardage. He's at Gene Upshaw, number 63, leading the way. Still a tremendous pulling guard.
What makes the Oakland running backs as effective as they are is both backs complement one another with good blocks. That time, right at the point of attack, Van Eaton gets the play started. Robisky looks inside, dips to the outside. Upshaw gets a fine block, and they pick up 9 or 10 and a 1st down.
Put it on to 35. Always spot the ball to the next yard line, although it's a 34.5. 1st down Raiders. They're ahead 3-0. 2:24 remaining in the first period. That time they go right. This is the left-handed running ball club, as you all know, but they went behind Marvin and Lawrence that time with a stop by Gary Campbell. They like the right guard, Mickey Marvin, number 65, a 2nd-year player, and they believe, John, that he's going to be one of their great ones.
Well, they've had so many offensive linemen in the Pro Bowl. He looks like a carbon copy of Gene Upshaw when you're looking at size.
And he's only 275, 6'4". It's time they go left. It's Robisky, who played the tailback in the eye at Louisiana State. He's just learning to block.
Gary Campbell, outside linebacker for the Bears. He's got an assignment on his hands. Upshaw gets to him. He finally gets back just to help out.
That was a real obstacle course, wasn't it?
I don't think he knew who he had.
On the 41 of the Raiders, 3rd down 4. John Madden looking up at the clock. First period, minute 20 to go. 3-0 Raiders. Branch and Bradshaw are in a slot right formation. Stabler has a shot to Bradshaw. It's broken up there by Gary Fensick, the strong safety out of Yale. Excellent play by Fensick.
I mentioned they may go some to Terry Schmidt. They tried it twice, were successful once. The other play, he broke up easily. They haven't gone back to him, and they haven't had many receivers open.
The leading punter in the NFL last year, and just regained the lead in the American Conference this season. Ray Guy, averaging 43 yards a kick. Steve Schubert is the safety man with 1 minute 8 seconds remaining in the first period. Guy is kicking with a slight breeze at his back. And it's not a typical Ray Guy kick. A line drive to the 20. Schubert, 25, and is down to the 29-yard line of the Bears. And down covering is Steve Sylvester. Timeout in Chicago with a score: Oakland 3, Chicago nothing. Had an eligible man downfield. A penalty declined by the Bears. They'll take over on their 29-yard line. The Eastern Division of the American League is wound up in a tie. And let's go now to Brian Gumbel, NFL 78, with highlights of the games today at Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium. And while we're away, 2 runs by Walter Playton, just short of a first down. And at the gun, the first period is over here in Chicago with a score: the Oakland Raiders 3 and the Chicago Bears nothing. Curt Gowdy, John Brodie, the second period. Oakland ahead 3-0. It is third down and a yard to go. A double tight end setup. Total offense: the Bears have outgained the Raiders 77-61 in the first period. Peyton, Harper behind Avellini. Quarterback sneak, and this is going to be close. Monty Johnson dived over the scrimmage line. May have stopped it. Don't know.
Looks like a big mishmash in there. Nobody really gets the best of it. However, Avellini does fall forward far enough for the first down, and they've got the ball in pretty good position.
The Bears ball on their own 40. First down. Peyton, 27 yards in the first period. Harper, 10. Only 4 passes tossed by Avellini. 3 completed and 1 intercepted. That's the only turnover. Here's a play-action pass. Right down the middle. Golden Richards has it. And he's upset there. He was wide open at the Oakland 45. Bill Villapiano upset him. Richards has helped this team.
He has, and he runs these patterns across the field about as well as any receiver in this game. You have to get by the linebackers. Once he gets down the field, Avellini hits him right on the break, gives him a chance to get the ball in control and find a place to run with it. However, Villapiano's standing right in his way, and he can't get started.
James Scott is double-teamed on one side, and Richards has helped balance it off. They needed that other wide receiver of ability, and Richards is it. Flag is down, plus Neil Armstrong said he's been trained the right way. When the Cowboys train him, they train him right. And he said, you know, I admired the kid. He didn't come in here and bum rap the Cowboys for being traded away. Had nothing but praise for.
Number 75.
That's another foul call on Jeff Seavey, number 75. Moving. Phil Yaw has replaced Patuzak, who's had a broken hand, or a broken bone in his hand. Phil Yaw is the towering young defensive end, 6'9". First down and 15. Peyton looking for room. Coming up to hit him there, number 47, Charlie Phillips from Southern Cal in his 4th year. Almost a new secondary. 2 new cornerbacks for the Raiders. Hayes on the left, a youngster. Jackson, a Pro Bowl player last year with the Rams. Secured him in the deal. Tatum and Phillips are the safety men. There's Matusak.
You can see that big wrap around his arm. He's got it very well padded, but it does hinder you a bit when you've got a broken hand and you're a lineman.
Second down, 13 for the Bears and the Raider 49. Great drop back by Avellini. Flares it out to Harper. Harper's there one-on-one. Shakes the tackle. He got away from Willie Hall. Hall had him dead to rights there and let him get away. An excellent maneuver by Roland Harper.
Charles Philyaw, all 6'9" of him. They put him in on passing situations. However, he's got all he can do to get by Dennis Lick. Dennis gets a little help from the back, and Philyaw goes on his on the backside.
Now the Bears are presented with a 3rd and 5. They're on the Raider 41-yard line. 2 minutes gone in the second period. The Raiders ahead 3-0. 42-yard field goal by Mann. Peyton on the swing outside. He has the first down and more. Boy, he cut it that time. Monty Jackson tackling from the right cornerback spot. But the Bears have another first down.
Real good blocks by the left side of the line. When you get an opportunity to get past the line of scrimmage before any contact is made, you know your offensive line has done its job. At the point of attack, you see no white shirts in the way until he gets 4 or 5 yards down the field. Easily picks up the first down.
The Bears were the #1 rushing team in the NFL last year, averaging 200 yards a game. Oakland was second in rushing. This year, they've dropped down in the still young season. McCoy is in his nose guard with a 3-man front. Peyton, bulldog down on a 31 of the Raiders. And it's Willie Hall. There's a flag down. There may be a face mask on this. John Madden looks out. Penalty going against the Raiders. Willie Hall made the hit, and a face mask penalty is called. Filipiano is arguing. Monty Johnson says, come on, Phil, get back. Not much we can do about it now. This year, Oakland is 8th in rushing in the NFL, and Chicago 14th. The Bears are moving right now, though. Let's listen.
Personal foul, face mask, number 41 defense. That's a first down.
Don Filipiano.
See if you can detect it yourself. You see Harper out there right on Charles Phillips. He cuts in. Filipiano stand.
He had Latta in the mask, blocking. First down. The Bears on the Oakland 26. And they're taking a lot of time with that signal count.
Well, that's the third mix-up coming out of the huddle before the ball was snapped, and could have an effect on a drive.
Avellini's over. I didn't see a timeout charged to the Bears. The timeout on the field. Schubert has gone in to replace James Scott as a wide receiver. We have 12:16 to go in the first half. The Raiders leading 3-0. Timeout must have been charged to the Bears. First down. Bears ball on the Oakland 26. This is their second scoring threat. Boy, they're really moving them around, aren't they? Lone setback is Peyton, and he has the ball. 3 men out in front of him. Peyton on his cutback. Oh, look at that! Peyton at the 20. Oh, that's unbelievable. How he, on that effort, broke 4 or 5 tackles and got out of that punch.
That's about as fine a 15-yard run as a man can make. He leaves some of those Raiders in astonishment. It's a real mix-up. Everybody knows the play's coming to the left by the time the players get in position. Browning's in a good position to make the play. He slipped free of him. Leaves a lot of guys in the wake. Tatum finally pulls him down.
And they pull Peyton out. They send in Mike Morgan. I guess they thought Peyton expended so much energy in that last carry. They're in an I formation now. That's Morgan moving. First down. Harper over the 10. Harper carries to the 8. That tackle-to-tackle offensive line now is slicing holes in the Raider defense.
It's very impressive when you think they haven't had to throw the ball.
Monty Johnson on the last stop. Second down. As the Bears come up, they're on the Raider 8-yard line. 2nd and 5 for a first down. Deepest penetration for the Bears. Harper, he's hit that time. Hendricks right there on him. There's another flag down. John Matuzak came in, hit him along with Ted Hendricks. And this one may be against the right tackle of the... What's the matter with Peyton, they were all asking.
The draw play has almost become extinct with the new blocking rules. However, this time he finds a crack. Peyton picks up about 9 yards. They've got 3rd and 6. And their drive is still alive.
And John, he already has 63 yards in the first half, Walter Peyton. As we look at him a second time, it is 3rd down now, 6 to go. Just short of the Raider 8-yard line. Avellini lobs it out of bounds. That was one of those quick lobs against a bump and run defense, they thought. But he threw that one out of bounds. Lester Hayes, number 37, had the man covered. I understand in New York they've lost the audio and video. We're sorry. I can't do anything about it, but NBC's trying to do it and trying to fix it up for you. The field goal team is on. Here's a man that hasn't missed a kick this year. Neither a field goal nor an extra point. Bob Thomas, who's kicked 7 out of 7 field goals. He has a lifetime successful percent of 56%, which is ahead of Mac Percival's 55%. A 25-yard attempt. The kick is up, and it is a tie game here in Chicago. The Bears have tied it with 9:54 to go in the first half. Oakland 3 and Chicago 3. Larry Brunson's in the game. Number 82, the Raiders just picked him up as a kick return specialist. And Arthur Whittington there. Brunson in the end zone is going to run it out. He's out to the 10, 15, and spilled at the 20, and an excellent tackle downfield by Steve Schubert, who does an outstanding job, number 85, on the specialty team for the Bears.
Steve's been an outstanding football player for about 6 years. I can remember in New England when he was playing with the Pats. He made a lot of plays just like that one.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, the Bears offense has kept that defensive team of the Raiders on the field a long time, and Stabler will come back out now. He's had a long rest to run it. Total plays in the game so far. The Bears 25, Oakland 16. A tie game, 3-3. Robisky and Van Egan behind Stabler. He'll go right to work with the pass. Bombs it out to the sideline. Morris Bradshaw was there, but he was covered by Schmidt, so Stabler sailed it out of bounds.
I'll tell you who was covered. Stabler was covered by Tommy Hart. Oakland needs more time to establish their patterns than Tommy's giving them on this particular play, so Stabler did the only thing he could, got rid of it before anybody had a chance to get open. Let's come back for the next one.
Stabler is 2 out of 7. His percent of completions this year has been 46%, way below his career average. Robisky at the 20, 25, and he fights his way there for a first down. Terry Robisky, and you could describe him as just a sound all-around football player.
Oakland seems to have that sort of character in their running backs. They're big fellas. They're not breakaway type runners. They're good blockers, good receivers, and they help their offense.
Raiders ball on the 31-yard line in Oakland territory. Branch is spread to the left, Bradshaw to the right. Stabler looks out, fires to Bradshaw. Bradshaw has the ball. Bradshaw, who was a wingback at Ohio State under Woody Hayes, I was going to say can run with it, is up to the 40-yard line.
I think John's a little upset.
About something. Is he upset? Woo! He was storming the sideline in that Denver game. He was upset. Out of Denver.
John usually has a point when he's upset, too, and this time he had a very good view of what was going on.
I like that pose. Did you see that pose of him like he was talking to the jury?
You bet.
With the finger pointer.
He's trying to get an audience. He doesn't like the late hit. Meanwhile, back at the ball game.
Back here, Van Egan, short yardage, a yard or two. Tommy Hart took him down. And now Madden has cooled down a bit. Van Egan has just picked up a first down. Raiders ball, their own 43. Started his drive on their 20. Time remaining first half, 7:50, and the game is tied 3-3. Slot right formation. Branch and Bradshaw on the right side. Stabler getting the protection. Quickie. Flag is down. Robisky caught the ball, is dropped at the 46 of Oakland. But a flag was dropped.
Right in that holding area.
Now let's see what this one's about. It's going against the Raiders, as the crowd response here in Soldier Field would tell you. And a sellout crowd with a perfect day for football. Temperature 63 degrees.
Not as much wind as you'll usually find, too.
Stabler's figures for today. That's on Gene Upshaw, the left guard, 63.
Oakland employs a lot of these late little check screen plays. Terry Robisky coming off late after he helps out Stabler picks him up, but they have to start over. 1st and 20.
There are 7 Pro Bowl players on the Oakland offensive team. 7 All-Stars that went to the Pro Bowl last year. 1 on defense. He's a new one, Monty Jackson. Stabler sends him out. They have the rush on. Here's a screen to Whittington to the 35. Whittington to the 40 and is down on the 41-yard line. Gary Campbell, the right linebacker, hit him there.
Oakland doesn't throw many screens, Curt, and you'll find whenever a team gets a lot of time to throw the ball, and they count on getting 4.5 to 5 seconds to throw it, it really doesn't set up a screen very well for your offense. Most good screen teams are the kind of teams that take 2.5 to 3 seconds to throw. The linemen are trying to get to that quarterback, having a better opportunity to do so. That was one of the rare effective screens that the Raiders call.
We're in a slot left now, John. It was a good point. 2nd down, 12. Raiders on their 41. The pitch to Whittington, trying to get him outside. Whittington turns the corner and goes out of bounds on the 46 of the Raiders. He was driven out by Terry Schmidt, the left cornerback, and the veteran Tommy Hart, the left end.
Great man, and I'll tell you, the 49ers miss him.
It's 3rd down and 7, and 3 wide receivers are on the field for the Raiders. Branch, Bradshaw, Bolitnikov. 4 linebackers. Buckensturm has come in for the Bears. Stabler out of the pocket, wide open for a 1st down is Morris Bradshaw of Ohio State. He came in here with 8 catches, averaging 21 yards a catch.
Schmidt's going to have to get some help from his linebackers. That time Buffon did not get into the area in time. When he doesn't get there in time, Stabler's going to have a field day over there, because I don't think anybody can watch Bradshaw one-on-one.
That's the 3rd reception for Bradshaw. Raiders 1st down. They're on the Bear 37. Stabler driving them in an executed drive here. It's to Branch. Branch bumped immediately. A short pickup to the 34 of the Bears. Virgil Livers, the right cornerback, remembers Cliff Branch. 2 years ago, he was burned twice on bombs from Stabler to Branch for touchdown. And Livers right on him today. Virgil Livers from Western Kentucky in his 4th year.
Not too many teams have been very effective picking on that boy either.
2nd down, 7. Well, when Mr. Branch goes by you, it's usually good night or goodbye. He only ran the 109.4 at the University of Colorado. There goes Van Egan. Big yardage. He spills his way inside the 20 to the 19. Doug Plank took him. Mark Van Egan picks up the 1st down.
Shell and Upshaw just moved their people out at the point of attack, allowed Van Egan to get an easy 1st down.
Final scores. Pittsburgh 28, Jets 17. Bradshaw injured his knee in the game. How serious, we don't know. Miami defeated the Cardinals 24-10. Bud Wilkinson still has not a win in the NFL after oodles in college. New England on a dramatic rally. Grogan running in the last 30 seconds. Beat San Diego in a heavy rain in New England. Van Egan again. And the lead exchanged hands 4 times in the 4th quarter. Houston rallied to beat the Cleveland Browns 16-13. Campbell, the report we got, had a pulled hamstring muscle in the game. And the Giants leading 14-0. Lost that lead. Atlanta rallied late in the game and won 23-20. Some dramatic games today. Buffalo, an improving team, beat Kansas City 28-13. Joe Ferguson's having a big year. Minnesota down Tampa Bay 24-7. 2nd down and 8. Stabler to the end zone with it. No good. Terry Schmidt. It was intended for Fred Bolitnikov.
You run out of room down there by the goal line. Schmidt just waited on Bolitnikov to come back out. Made a good play on the ball, and they must come back and regroup.
And here's another final. Green Bay 35, Detroit Lions 14. Green Bay has lost only 1 game, and that was a trouncing by the Oakland Raiders. That Art Starr, that's been a surprising team, John.
They've played an awful lot better than people thought they were capable, and
we have a 3rd down, 8. Stabler, look at the time. That's out of sight. Out of sight. Robisky trying to get into the end zone.
Excellent coverage by the secondary. He had oodles and oodles of time to throw the ball. couldn't get a receiver open, had 3 in the end zone running around, finally had to throw it in the cheap seats.
Now the veteran Arrow man comes in to kick against about a 6-8 mile-an-hour breeze. Kenny said,
nothing you can do. You can't try to force it.
he said it all on that last pass when he walked the mat and threw his arms out. This will be a 35-yard attempt by man. Former Nebraska quarterback David Humm will spot it for him. Man has kicked a 42-yarder in the first period. This one is up, and it is good. 2 field goals by Earl Mann. A field goal battle today in Chicago. The score with a timeout, Oakland 6, Chicago 3. The Raiders had a 62-yard drive stall on 4th down, kicked the field goal. They lead. Guy usually kicks deep. There are Morgan and Walterscheid back for the Bears, but he's been kicking low line drives on the kickoff here. Not the usual Guy type of kickoffs. This one's a little better. It's angled to the corner. Walterscheid waits for it, comes back to the 10, to the 20, has some room up the sideline, and brings the ball back in a good field position. And Ray Guy, who kicked off, is the man who drove him out of bounds. Guy is an all-around athlete. He was a defensive back in college. He can play some quarterback. He can do it all.
When your kicker's making the tackles, it hadn't been a very good play for you, though.
Bob Hope's All-Star Comedy salute to the 75th anniversary of the World Series. It's a must. Danny Kaye will be there. Sunday night, October 15th, 8 to 10 p.m. Danny's team won't be in the World Series, but he'll be on the World Series comedy special. The Seattle baseball team. 39-yard line of the Bears. Their ball, first down. Peyton. You know, it almost looked like he was going to raise his arm and throw an option pass, John.
Well, he knew he wasn't going to go very far on the ground. That may have been a little fake, but he just had nowhere to go.
What's the matter with Walter Payton? Absolutely nothing, ladies and gentlemen. He has over 70 yards rushing in the first half.
And it doesn't look like he's had enough.
62, they say now. 62 yards rushing. His biggest game this year has been 101 yards. Get a second down, 9 to go. On the Bear 41, 6-3 Oakland. Payton again. There was a great stop that time by Dave Browning, who had angled in there, number 73, the rookie of Washington, hit him behind the line around the ankles and spilled him over.
When you're trying to get Walter Payton, you grab anything that's available. Harper's not only an outstanding runner, but he's also a fine blocker. He's responsible for a lot of the yardage that Payton picks up. He can't quite get to Otis Sistrunk in time, and as Browning trips him up, Sistrunk knocks him down.
Villapiano to the bench, and Colsey is inserted as a 5th secondary back. Scott is out as a wide receiver. Schubert, number 85, then he's on the right side. Richards on the left wide. 3rd down, 6. Avellini under the gun, and they've got him on a sack. Sistrunk reached him, number 60, the middle guard. That's the first sack of the game. We've had 1 turnover. That was by the Bears, Ray Guy.
Something's going on
for Ray Guy. First man ever drafted number 1 as a punter. The Cardinals did it this year with the Arkansas kicker, Little.
That's what happens when you get your kickers making tackles.
Punt formation. Bob Parsons. Colsey is a safety man for the Raiders. Parsons will be kicking with a slight breeze. A high wobbly boot. Colsey takes it on the 25, and Schubert is right on top of him. Steve Schubert was there.
Perfect timing. That's not an easy thing to do. When you're the end man, you have to get by the man trying to block you, time the ball perfectly to the receiver. He does it about as well as anybody.
They've only averaged 3.5 yards of return against the Bears this year, and you can see why. Bob Hope's first special of the season, again, is October 15th, a Sunday night. His comedy salute to the 75th anniversary of the World Series, and his very special guest will be Danny Kaye. Incidentally, the Bob Hope Desert Classic will be carried right after the first of the year on NBC. That'll be the first big golf tournament of the year. Bob will be there for that one also. That special is going to be one of the best of the season, the Bob Hope comedy special saluting the 75th anniversary of the World Series. First down, Raiders under 25-yard line. They're ahead 6-3. Van Egan from Colgate. And before him at fullback was another Colgate back, Hubbard. Gary Campbell made the hit. 7-yard pickup for Mark Van Egan. Van Egan now on the ground is 43 yards. Robisky has 28 yards.
And Van Egan's going to pick up 100 for the day if Upshaw and Shell keep moving Hartenstein and Rideouts out of there the way they have been.
We pause briefly for identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is
Curt Gowdy and John Brodie back here. They have just given the 2-minute warning to each bench. That's the time remaining in the first half with the score, Oakland 6 and Chicago 3. The Yankees finally lost one on the last day of the season. They lost to Cleveland 9-2. The Red Sox won their 8th in a row today, beating Toronto 5-1. They're tied, and they'll play off tomorrow at Fenway Park for the Eastern Division crown of the American League. I was at Fenway Park Friday night doing some interviews with Jimmy Rice and Yastrzemski, Zimmer, Lynn for the World Series package. I said, this is if you're in the World Series. They said, we'll be there. They really had the confidence.
Who said you never get a second chance?
Whittington outside. He can scoot. But you know, John, they were wrapped. They went into the big collapse. They were 14.5 games out, and everybody got sour all over the country. And they showed something the way they came back and tied it up, no matter what happens
When you
tomorrow.
win 8 in a row at the end to get a tie, you played pretty well.
It's no choke, flop. Biletnikoff becomes the third wide receiver. Going out is Whittington. The Raiders have a first down. They're on their 36-yard line. 1:25 to go in the first half. Stabler 6 out of 13. Van Egan the lone setback. Out it comes to Bradshaw. Bradshaw fumbles the ball out of bounds. And if they call it an incomplete pass or a completed pass?
They call it a completed pass.
He had possession and control. That's
and a
right.
fumble out.
Right, that's it. It was out in the 41-yard line. So that's the fourth reception by Morris Bradshaw today. Clock stops with 1:15 remaining in the first half. And into the game is Lenny Walderscheid to defend against the pass. They take out Doug Buffon, the left linebacker. Jim Plunkett watching.
Oh, Plunkett.
Down the Raiders. There he is. Look at him. Wide open. Fred Biletnikoff just standing there as if he were watching the action from the sideline. 6-3. There he is, wide open and dropped at the 20. Up there's Branch. He went down and got up, but he has a first down. Cliff Branch. So now they've gone to Bradshaw, then to Biletnikoff, and now to Branch in the 3 wide receiver offense that they're running. And I believe they've called a time. That'll give them 2 timeouts left in the first half. As Stabler confers with Madden, 1:03 to go in the half. 6-3 Oakland. Ken Stabler's completed 9 passes today. That gives him 1,000 in his career. The second Raider passer to reach 1,000, the Mad Bomber, Darryl LaMonica, went over 1,000 completion. First down. Raiders ball on the 26 of the Bears. 1 minute to go in the half. Here's a screen. Van Egan running the screen. Inside the 25, there's a flag down. The flag is dropped on the 24-yard line. Tom Hicks on the tackle. Let's see what this one is about. Raiders trying to get the last score of the half with 56 seconds remaining. Neil Armstrong, an All-American in at what was then called Oklahoma A&M instead of Oklahoma State. The referee right.
Right. Defense. Just number 59. That's a first down.
That's a personal foul on Gary Campbell, number 59. That moves the ball to the 11-yard line and a first down for the Raiders. And the score, 3-0. Raiders ahead. 56 seconds remaining in the first half. Robisky and Banaszak are the running backs. Stabler, the sack. Campbell, a fumble maybe. Raiders recover, and there may have been a holding or a pushing away.
They ruled that Stabler was down.
Stabler was down, they say, and not a fumble. Stabler was down. When he went down, that was it.
Robisky knew that he'd had it. Linebacker came late. He knew it was his man. He couldn't get to him. You can see Robisky out of the corner of your screen. Campbell delayed and then blitzed. Got to Stabler before he could even set up. That was a good play.
As soon as his body hits the ground, that's it. We had a controversy in Miami between the Bills and the Miami Dolphins, I recall. Mercury Morris hit the ground with his shoulders, a fumble. Ralph Wilson, the owner of the Bills, argued for a year about that one. Here's a crossing pattern, incomplete. Ooh, did Biletnikoff take it? First of all, he was wrapped up coming across by Schmidt. And then he was hit by Fensick.
This is where it gets pretty tough. There's no two ways about it. He gets underneath Terry Schmidt. When you're running all alone for that long a period of time in the middle of that field, you know somebody's going to come up. Fensick comes up, takes his hands away and says, I didn't touch him, did I, ref?
Those two safety men of the Bears, Fensick and Plank, let you know that it's their territory that you're coming into. Like the grizzly bear, where does he go? He goes where he wants to go. We have a third down. 20 to go. Robisky and Van Egan. Stabler has the time. Throws. There, it's in there. And is it? Incomplete, they say. Incomplete to Casper.
The official was in a great spot to call it. He was perfectly positioned, and he could see the ball lying on the carpet.
Watch this one from our end zone camera, John.
Can't get it much tougher than to have a situation where you're third down and 20.
That's fast action.
He traps it on the ground.
Another field goal attempt by Earl Mann. He's already kicked 2. 35 yards, 42 yards. This will be a 38-yard attempt. Hum is holding. 20 seconds remaining in the half. The kick is up, and the kick was blocked. The kick was blocked, and racing down the field and going in is Spivey. The kick was blocked by Livers. Livers blocked it. Came in from the right side. Livers, number 24, and Spivey ran for the touchdown.
This ball took about as good a bounce as any ball could possibly take. As Livers gets his hands on it, it's one bounce right into Spivey's hands, and the ball game is over.
Looks like he dribbled it over to him and said, here, you take it.
Oh, man, that's picking it up on a dead run.
71 yards he went with it. How Livers got in there. Boy, somebody made a mistake.
Their special teams are excellent. They made big plays all year long. They count on them to do it, and they did it. This is the second return of a field goal for a touchdown for them.
And how dramatically everything changed around. The kick is no good. That's the first one that Thomas has missed this year. 9 seconds to go. We'll be back with a score now. The Bears 9 and Oakland 6. Virgil Livers being congratulated how he came across there and blocked that field goal attempt. Remember, NFL 78 coming up. He'll have highlights of the games today in the NFL. Also, more highlights of the final day of the American League season, in which the Red Sox won, the Yankees lost. They'll play off tomorrow at Fenway Park, Boston, for the Eastern Division crown. The kickoff now coming up, and how things change.
They went from a potential 13-3 to 9-6.
This one down. It's bounce ball day today here. Brunson has it on the 15. Up to the 20. And we see the clock shows 3 seconds to go. One more play remaining in the first half. Art Best on the stop. You know, the more you get around football, and John and I talk about this a lot, dramatically explained here today. They just let Van Egan roll. Van Egan comes out the last play of the first half. The gun sounds, and the Bears will leave the field with the lead. The score at the end of the first half, the Chicago Bears 9 and the Oakland Raiders 6. Turnovers, 1 charge to Chicago. That was an interception. None to the Raiders. Sacks, 1 on each team. The leading rusher again in the battle of the 2 leading rushers of the 1977 season. Peyton over 1,800 yards last year, beat out Van Egan by 600 and some yards. And they're meeting here today, and it's a close one between the two individually. Coming out to Brunson to the 10, the 15 to the 20, 25, and is down to the 29-yard line. And I see a flag go down. Flag dropped there. Mike Morgan covering the kickoff.
40 on the run back.
That's on veteran Pete Vanasak. Well, I'm going to spot it on a 14. It's nudged over the 14. 14-yard line, first down. Stabler, the quarterback. Robisky, Van Egan, the running backs. Slot left formation. Out to the 20-yard line is Terry Robisky. Robisky in the first half carried the ball 5 times to 28 yards, a 5.6 average. John, both these teams have been excellent on first down plays. Chicago on first down averaged 6 yards every first down, and Oakland averaged 5.6.
It is. It's a quarterback's dream to get more than 5 yards on first down, and that's why I say they've been offensively a whole lot more effective than they have been productive. Up and down the field, but not in the end zone.
They go to a slot right. Van Egan. Van Egan stopped at the 24-yard line of the Raiders. Number 76, Ron Rydolch, and Gary Campbell, the right linebacker. This Campbell's an aggressive linebacker. He's playing another excellent game.
Well, they're testing him, I'll say that. And a lot of times the guy will make a lot of tackles when he's young because somebody wants to find out if he is any good. It looks to me as if Campbell's showing people he can play, and he may not get as many opportunities in the future.
Third down and a foot to go. 3 tight ends into the game. Casper, Chester, and Ramsey for the Raiders. Brad Shearer, a rookie from Texas, the Outland Trophy winner, top college lineman last year, into the game. And they have the first down. Van Egan is now close to Walter Payton in the individual rushing battle between the 2 leading rushers of the National Football League last year. Payton has 67 yards in the first half. Van Egan must have around 65, something like, let's see. Van Egan now has 67. They're tied. Payton hasn't had his hands on the ball yet this
And I'm going to bet you 40 of them are right over Shell and Upshaw.
What else?
Well, they've got good players at every position, but those 2 guys are awesome.
28-yard line of the Raiders. First down. Van Egan cutting back. Flag down. Van Egan to the 35. They saw something in that secondary and threw the flag. John Madden. That's frustrating for the coach. You can read his lips.
I'm glad we can't always.
Offensive holding, number 65. First down.
That's on Mickey Marvin, the young right guard out of Tennessee. Second-year player. So back it goes to the 22-yard line of the Raiders. They have a first down and 16 yards to go. We just started the second half. The Bears are ahead 9-6. Jam that play up. Robisky is hit by Tom Hicks, the middle linebacker, and Gary Finsick, the strong safety. 15 for Oakland. Here's Whittington with the ball. They're hemming him in. Well, he was hit high there. He crossed the 25 to the 26 when he went to the artificial surface by Gary Campbell once again, 59.
He's active, and he is getting tested, as we mentioned earlier. He laterally across the line of scrimmage, gets in excellent position, gets on Whittington away from Shell, and brings him down for a short gain.
Third down, 12 to go for the Raiders. The 3-4 now for the Bears. Rydolch comes out. Gary Muckensturm, a 4th linebacker, is inserted. Bears alternating their defense. Quick signal count. Stabler with a pump fake. There's his man. He's open, and that's the tight end Casper, 87, his second catch of the game. We have a flag dropped at the 35.
I think the flag is simply a little, it was a chuck more than 5 yards down the line of scrimmage. I think the play will go as executed. But it doesn't look like it from the manner of the players.
And the coach, Mr. Madden.
Offense, illegal contact on the defense. Play it over.
Illegal motion, Oakland. Illegal chuck on the defense. Chicago offsetting, and they'll play it over again. And the first down is off as of for right now. Walter Payton keeping loose. He's shooting not only for a 100-yard game today, but more than that.
100 yards, old hat to him.
Up they come. Third down, 12. Raiders on their 26, trailing 9-6 early in the third period. Blitz is on, but they hold him out. There's the toss, and that one is complete to Bradshaw. Bradshaw squirming away, is stopped short of the first down. He had it, he came back on his reverse, and I believe they stopped him short of the first down.
He knows it too. He feels awful about it. He saw he had the first down, had a chance to pick up big yardage. In a blitz situation, you are really putting the pressure on your cornerbacks. Schmidt makes a good play, forces real hard, almost gets his hand on the ball. Bradshaw comes up with a good catch. Looks like he's going to get away, get the big yards.
That's where he made
Instead,
the mistake, when he cut back.
Well, there's almost nowhere you can go once you've made your decision.
Fourth down, Ray Guy in the first half. Punted once for 41 yards. Steve Schubert will be the punt returner. Joe Stewart, a flashy rookie, out to the left. Watch him. He can really get down. He runs 109.4.
They're coming after this one.
They're going after him. There's a flag down. That's a towering kick. Schubert back to the 16, to the 20. There Stewart hits him, number 80. A rookie from Missouri who won the Illinois 100 and 220-yard dashes. That's against Oakland. Madden again. He is really emotional on that sideline.
Well, this game can really frustrate you, and John's been through it all this year.
You can watch him. You know, just put a camera on Madden and almost determine how the game's going. You get down, he'll pray, he'll jump up with his arms up for scores, he'll moan and...
Decline a penalty. That's a first down.
Bears have declined the penalty. They'll take over, and we'll be back here at Soldier Field, Chicago, with the score of the Bears 9 and the Raiders 6. Curt Gowdy here with John Brodie, who played in Soldier Field, Chicago in the 57 All-Star game. And you had quite a cast, I remember, with you. We'll talk about that in a bit. Right now, the Bears ball on their 27. They're ahead by 3. Third period. They move Latta, the tight end, to the other side. So they're strong right. There goes Harper. Harper escaping. Is finally hit there by Jack Tatum, the free safety. And we have a flag down. Didn't Jimmy Brown play in that game with you?
I'll tell you, Jimmy Brown was one of them. We had so many, he didn't even get in the game. One of our coaches said he ran too high, and I can remember coming in at halftime. He was taking his clothes off. I said, "Where are you going?" He says, "I'm quitting."
I mean, Brown was going to quit?
Yeah, so they let him play the second half. He took the kickoff back about 65 yards, and that's as far as we got for the rest of the night.
He ran high all right for 9 years.
Well, it's funny.
I saw a statement the other day by him. Somebody talked about O.J. and Walter Payton, and they asked him about his career, and he said, "I earned my pay." He didn't miss a game in 9 years.
Understated.
Holding number 79. First down.
Here we go. The last play was a penalty. It's now first down and 20. We can see there's just a little holding call on the left tackle.
First down and 20 for the Bears from their 17-yard line. Avellini on a delay gives it off to Payton. Payton's to the 22. And he's jammed up there by Ted Hendrick, playing strong side linebacker. Well, we had another final score coming on, a new one for you. And that's the Eagles and the Colts. Well, the Colts, some teams just seem to be snake bit this year. Maybe they'll all be snake bit before it's over. But the Eagles beat them 17-14. The Eagles are an improved team over last year. Coming on with a good record. They beat Miami last week. Second down, 15 to go. Here's Payton once more. And Payton rumbles out to the 25, maybe the 26-yard line. Willie Hall and Villapiano made the stop on him. 9:23, pardon me, John, to go in the third period. And here's the final. The Rams remain undefeated. They beat New Orleans 26-20.
Tell you, New Orleans has got a pretty good football team. Manning's having a good year. Dick Nolan has them pretty well organized. And when you can play L.A. to a 6-point deficit, you're playing pretty well.
Pat Toomey comes in, and they form a 4-man front. Robin Earl is onto the field now on 3rd and 11. Avellini arching a deep one. He's got him out there, just over his head. He had him open and just missed James Scott down there, who is the long ball threat for the Bears.
We've got another flag down there.
This one's on Oakland. Look at
Reeve Sorry, I'm not sure, thought that penalty was against Oakland, and he was a bit upset. The table turned, and Madden's a bit upset.
Defensive holding, number 83.
That's an automatic first down. That's holding on Ted Hendricks. And the Raiders are making some costly mistakes now. They let the Bears block a field goal. There are the yards penalized. They made a couple of costly penalties there in this third period. The Bears would have been pinned down. They would have had to punt on fourth down. Now it's first down. They keep the ball on their own 30-yard line. They're leading 9-6. Payton coming out. First down, Moore is up to the 50-yard line. And that may put him around the 100 mark.
Looking around the crowd, you can see as soon as he gets to the line of scrimmage, everybody stands up. He's got the same sort of magnetism that Hugh McElhaney had out in San Francisco about 20 years ago. Certain guys, when they get there, you know they're going to do something with it. Here he goes. He's being led by 3 of the linemen. He gets to the point of attack at the line of scrimmage now. Everybody expects explosion. They get it. They've got a first on the 50.
Bears just short of that 50. Harper breaks into Oakland territory and is down on the Oakland 47-yard line by Ted Hendricks. That last run by Payton was 20 yards, and that's been his longest run of the year. The Bears have the ball on the Oakland 47, second down 7. The holding penalty against Ted Hendricks right now is a costly one for the Raiders. They had the Bears forced into a 4th and long. The Bears were going to punt, but it was a holding penalty and an automatic first down, and now they're in Raider territory. The Bears are ahead 9-6, 7:25 to go in the third period. Avellini fakes, tosses it out and over the head of Scott, who was jammed against the sideline, and also Walter Payton.
Here's Ted Hendricks trying to cover Payton, and he knows he's got a job to do. Just front him as he did. Payton could never see the ball.
Willie Brown, in his 16th year, who has lost his starting right corner job to Monty Jackson, has just come on the field. 5 secondary backs on for the Raiders. Willie Hall, the linebacker, left the field. It is third down and 7 for the Bears. He unloads it out, and it is broken up by number 20, Neil Colsey. Colsey just reached that one and slapped it away off the end of the fingertip, intended for the tight end, Greg Latta. Fourth down 7 for Chicago. Parsons has had a unique record this year. 9 of his 25 punts have been spotted dead inside the 20-yard line.
To have a 41-yard average, doing that is pretty good.
Perfect snap. He lobs this one up there. This one is going to be in. A touchback, and it'll be the Raiders' ball, first down on the Raiders 20. Timeout. We'll be back. It is still the Bears 9 and the Raiders 6. NFL 78 will start at 12:30 Eastern Time next Sunday. Feature the quarterback who could be president, Jack Kemp. I used to call him Jackie, and he got mad at me. He's right. That's not distinguished enough for a president. Jack Kemp. We'll tell you about the games in a minute. Terry Robisky's in the backfield. But that's Mark Van Egan. Jackie Kemp, little Jackie. Let's watch Upshaw and Shell right now operate on that left side.
They've been attacking the left side, and for good reason. Upshaw and Shell are about as good a pair as there are. Pretty good blocks at the point of attack. Wasn't a very tough job, actually, and Van Eegen picks up 5.
Raiders have a 2nd and 5. 6:36 to play in the 3rd quarter. Stavers pass, out of bounds, skips Branch, right at the 30. He may have a first down. 1 o'clock next Sunday, Buffalo at New York. Buffalo won today. Saw Bob Chandler came back, John, and caught 2 touchdown passes today. The elite receiver of the Bills, and he's been on the injured list. And Sunday at 2 o'clock, Cleveland's at New Orleans, Baltimore at St. Louis at 4 o'clock, Denver at San Diego, and Houston versus Oakland. Houston rallied to win today, even though Earl Campbell was injured with a full hamstring muscle. He's been the leading rusher in the American Football Conference. Raiders have a first down on their 30. That's Terry Robisky, tackled by number 54, Tom Hicks, and helped by Ron Rydolch of Utah in his 4th year. Yes, he said Hart and Smith had really helped him. On 2nd down, look at the time he has. He wobbled that one away. That was a wounded duck intended for Cliff Branch, who had turned in open into the zone.
I think there was just a little bit of a miscommunication. Stabler threw it right on the break, and I think he anticipated Branch coming to the right. He went to the left. Makes you look a little silly.
3rd down and 6, and repeating again, what a glorious afternoon they had in New England today. The Red Sox won, and the Patriots, in a wild scramble, rallied with 30 seconds to go. Grogan running for a touchdown to avert defeat. Red Sox won, the Yankees lost. Boston and New York play tomorrow at Fenway Park for the Eastern Division title. Out it goes to Bradshaw, and he lost the ball, tumbling down. It'll bring up 4th down, and Ray Guy will come in to punt. At that time for the Bears, Ray Guy will boot it. Steve Schubert is the safety man. There it goes. Cannon. Back to the 10. He drops the ball. He's in trouble. Comes up the sideline, is out of bounds, and the Bears will have the ball. Hold it. There's a flag down. Another flag dropped.
Got a couple of them this time.
That's a 56-yard punt by Ray Guy.
Man downfield, number 63.
That was number 63. Can you imagine that? A 12-year veteran, Gene Upshaw.
You don't see that called very often anymore, and just one of those mistakes you just do not make.
See, Madden had his hand stuffed in his hip, saying to himself, how many more mistakes did we make in this quarter? All right, Ray Guy will do it again. Maybe not a 56-yarder, but he'll punt if he gets it away. Yeah. This was not as good. They had a rush on. Schubert on the 31, 35, 40. Schubert is hit down on the 42-yard line, so a difference of about 27 yards. That penalty cost the Raiders. We'll be back. Football starts at 12:30 Eastern Time next Sunday on NBC and right on through. Here's the man that went in and blocked the field goal attempt right before the end of the half. It was scooped up by Spivey, who ran for a touchdown, and that's Livers coming off the field. Want to remind you, the big Bob Hope All-Star Comedy Salute to the 75th anniversary of the World Series. Danny Kaye is going to be the special guest. One of the all-time greats of showbiz and one of the owners of the Seattle Major League Baseball Club. Listen, all kinds of guest stars at night, October 15th, 8 to 10 Eastern Time on NBC. Bears ball, first down in the 41. They're ahead 9-6. Roland Harper picks up 5. He's out 41 to the 46. This Harper is gets the job done, John.
You bet. Coming into this ball game, he and Peyton were even in yardage gained. He's only been used 5 times today for 21 yards, but Peyton's having a great day. Let him carry the load. When he's not, they divide it up pretty well.
Neither team is threatened in this half. The Raiders can't get their attack going. There's Walter Payton. Payton is down on the 48-yard line of the Bears. This telecast is presented. Otis Sistrunk stopped him on the last play. Now the Bears have a 3rd and a long 2. They're on their 48-yard line with time moving along. 4:15 to go in the third period. And he's going to throw. He swings it out to Harper. Harper is stopped short of the first down by Willie Hall, number 39.
Great play by Willie Hall. He was one-on-one with Harper. That's no picnic when you're out there with a fullback and a lot of room to maneuver either way. He got him before he could really get started and forced the turnover.
Bob Parsons of Penn State. Bob Parsons of Penn State in punt formation. Colsey's back at the 10. Parsons will try and pooch this one somewhere dead. Around the 5. He can. He kicked it up. It's a wobbly one. Colsey's going to handle it on his 20. Down he goes on the 21. And we have another flag drop. Flags, flags, flags here in the third period. Double whacker there, Neil. Now they're talking it over with Gene Upshaw, who's the offensive captain of the Oakland Raiders, number 63. And Gene said, now where do we have the ball? On the 21. Will they take it back and have him kick over? Listen to this one.
Ineligible man downfield. They declined the penalty. The personal foul also on Chicago, so it's first down.
Personal foul on the return after Colsey went down. They declined, of course. We have a timeout. We'll be back and talk about this one. 3:27 to go in the third period with the score. The Bears. You have a new right cornerback for the Bears now, Mike Spivey, who scooped up the blocked field goal at the end of the half and ran 71 yards for a touchdown. That's Schmidt, the other corner. He's going for the bomb. They're working on Spivey already. Branch making a great effort for it, but he's out of bounds. So they went right to work on it.
Spivey had the ball played perfectly all the way. Forced Branch against the sidelines. Used the sideline as a 12th man. Was in perfect position. In fact, Branch even outran the angle to get his hand on the ball. They're not going to complete many when you play defense like that.
Raiders declined that intention. A man ineligible down the field, accepted the other penalty, which in a multiple foul is a longer one you can take. And they took the 15-yarder. Second down, 10. They hit him. He gets it to Casper. Another one of those remarkable Dave Casper catches. He was knocked down by Fensick, Gary Fensick, the strong safety.
And he's still down. I know that was a solid hit. Both players felt that one. You see, the Stabler comes back, he has to wait quite a while for Casper to come over the middle, open. Casper reaches up in that style of his, makes a fine play and gets a good hit just after he catches the ball and is shaken up a bit.
His biggest beef is being hit in the back as he goes by people. That's the one thing that he talks to you about. I don't mind all the other stuff. But when they hit me in the back after I'm by him, but that was just a solid hit there in the secondary. We pause briefly for identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is KMTV in Omaha.
They're working on Dave Casper. They put Raymond Chester in the game. And now John Madden's come out in the field. That's Henry Lawrence, number 70.
That was so upset about.
He's not a rookie. This is his 5th year, Lawrence. And he replaced John Bella, who was injured again this year after being injured last year. Van Egan to the left. All down on a quick charge by Gary Campbell and Mike Hartenstein on the right side. They're just trying to spring him.
Here comes Lawrence in the ball game again.
Henry Lawrence back in at right tackle. Robisky is out. And Arthur Whittington, the speedster, the rookie, comes in at running back at a second down 8. The Raiders ball in the Bears 41. 2:24 to go in the third period. The Bears ahead 9-6. Slot right. Out it goes. He just unloaded that one. They were trying to set up a screen to Van Egan. they had the big rush on Stabler, and he sailed it away.
Van Egan could never get out. We mentioned earlier that Oakland has a little trouble with screens because they have so much time to throw normally. That time the play did not have a chance to develop.
Now they have the 3 wide offense. Whittington out. Biletnikoff is in. He has the time, and he hits his man, Raymond Chester, the tight end, and he's out of bounds. I don't believe a club has a tandem of tight ends like Casper and Chester.
Raymond Chester is a top quality receiver, and Oakland uses him well. He's the sort of fellow that if you let him start running, throw the ball to where he has to reach for the ball on the run, he drops very few balls. You see, he gets underway, he's got good speed, the ball's right on the mark, picks up a first down, and Oakland's in scoring territory at the 25-yard line.
He got wide open that game we did in Baltimore last year, remember? Bird overthrew him a bit in the 6th period. Robisky, Vanasak now. Robisky cutting down just short of the 20-yard line of the Bears, hit by Brad Shearer, the rookie from the University of Texas. And we're down to 1:50 remaining in the 3rd period. Robisky has averaged 3.7 a game this year. Second-year man. It is 2nd down, 5.5 to go. Golden Richard. I'd like to win a battery. June Jones to Golden Richard, that would be, huh? 2nd and 5.
What happened to Bronco Nagurski?
Yeah, Tuffy Lehman. Bulldog Turner. Vanasak. Oh, he hit somebody, and they bounced him back. I think it was Tom Hicks, the middle linebacker, and Doug Plank, the free safety. Someone's down. Vanasak going on. That's Jerry Muckensturm, who is injured. Now we have a timeout on the field. With 1:15 to go in the 3rd period, it's Osborne. The score is still the Bears 9 and the Raiders 6. Errol Mann getting a trusty right leg ready. It's 3rd and 3. Oakland's ball on the Bears' 18-yard line. Branch and Bradshaw are the wide receivers. They're slotted to the left. Robisky is a running back with Van Egan. And short of a first down. On the quick handoff, Hartenstein stopped the play. Robisky trying to get it. It is now 4th down. Those are his figures. Career-wise with the Raiders. This will be a 34-yard attempt. Hum is holding. It's up, and the kick is good, and we've got a tie game in Chicago. With 5 seconds to go in the 3rd period. Errol Mann has kicked his 3rd field goal of the game. Cliff Branch congratulating him. So Stabler took him down the field with a passing game. They finally stalled. They kick it up.
He's got a lot of baseball left, though.
Emmy Award-winning director Harry Coyle. 12 cameras to cover each game. All stops and everything will be pulled for the, here it is from the receiver's angle, for the 75th anniversary of the World Series coverage. Into the end zone for the touchback. Get to go in the 3rd period. The front 3 for the Raiders is going to be Matuzak, McCoy, and Browning. The Bears ball on their 20-yard line. The game is tied 9-9. It hasn't been a spine-tingling 3rd period. Payton is hit right along the line of scrimmage and stopped there. And getting to him is Dave Browning. Browning is very quick, John.
You bet, but Ted Hendricks caused that play to be made. When you keep running at Ted, you're going to go broke eventually. They were effective in the 1st half. They haven't been that in the 2nd.
Well, that's the end of the 3rd period here in Chicago. It's a tie, 9-all. We're going to give you that address again, so get a pencil and paper so you can write it down. Curt Gowdy, John Brodie into the 4th period, a tie game, an interconference game. The Bears in the dark jersey for the ball. 9-all. Play action pass coming up. The pass complete. Latta, the tight end, 1st down. He was wide open. And a strike down the middle.
And that's the first time we've seen Jack Tatum all afternoon, Curt. You don't try his area very often, because when you do, you're going to take your lumps. If I was going to send a man into his area, it would be Latta, however. Big fella, after he gets the ball, he's tough on those defensive backs. He picked the toughest in Tatum.
The Bears have the ball in the 42. Touchdowns have been hard to come by today. One at the end of the half. The Bears blocking an Oakland field goal attempt. Spivey running 71 yards for a touchdown with it. Livers blocked it. Another play action pass. Right down the middle. That one's complete. That is James Scott who caught that one. And he was hit by Monty Jackson.
Well thrown balls, both of those. You got the feeling that Chicago has got to do something up top. They haven't been as effective running the ball in the second half. Avellini's going to the air 2 plays in a row. First he hits Latta, then Scott on perfectly thrown balls, and Chicago's on the move.
They've come 37 yards in 2 plays. The Bears ball on the Raider 43. First down. They're in a slot left formation. Walter Payton cutting back over the 40 down to the 34. Excellent run by Payton.
It's amazing how many times after you complete a couple of balls downfield, you get in the huddle, your whole team's enthusiastic, the running game starts to move a little better. That time the whole right side of the line just moved Oakland's defense back. Payton picked it up easy, and now they've got it inside the 35.
Almost like they went in the huddle and turned the key on.
That's right. The fans get excited, the players get excited.
They have a second down and a long yard to go. The Bears threatening here early in the 4th period. On the Raider 34. Play action. Out he goes. It's complete. Scott out of bounds. James Scott. Good passing down. 2nd and 1.
Perfect. If you don't wait till it's 3rd down to throw the ball, you can be a lot more effective. Avellini's run 3 very well complemented patterns. This is a simple little pattern to Scott. You have to execute it well. His offensive line gave him time to throw. Just a simple game of pitch and catch.
I don't see what's wrong with this man, Avellini.
No, he's playing good football.
3 excellent passes on this drive. First down. Bears on the Raider 19. There's Payton. He's looking. And he's still got 2 or 3 yards. He had absolutely no blocking.
Well, he had no place to go.
2nd down, 7. The Bears on the Raiders 16. Avellini will put it up. Maybe. Oh! Boy, that's the catch of the game by Roland Harper.
Boy, it was just extended out there, and any hit, it looks to me as if Harper is not going to get right up. He got hit right in the chest by as solid a lick as you could expect. He made a great play to get into a position. The offensive line gave Avellini plenty of time to throw. They had all his receivers covered. He looked at Harper. Harper went around the coverage, came down with a great play, and puts him in perfect scoring position.
Now watch this catch. This is the catch of the game, as we said. He's in trouble, Avellini. Throws it out. Look at this. One-handed. Hauls it in. He's going to get hit. He knows it. You see the man coming, but he held onto it and went to the ground. He's up. Comes out of the game. They put Robin Earl in for him, number 39. And the Chicago Bears have a first down and goal to go from the Oakland Raiders' 7-yard line. An electrifying drive suddenly from the Bears' 20. Avellini has led it with his passing. Payton. Payton hit. Breaks tackle, goes down. Maybe a yard gain, maybe not. Depends where they mark him. Monty Johnson got to him. He carried the ball 57% of the time last year. Up to this game, only 35% of the time this season. 2nd down, 7 to go for a Bear touchdown. The rollout. He throws. Flag is down. They dropped the flag.
In the secondary.
Now they'll confer.
First down.
That's an illegal chuck. Somebody got 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, and then they chucked him under the new rule. Chuck him once. On the line of scrimmage, 5 yards downfield, and that ends it. First down, goal to go for the Bears. for it. He stopped on the 1.5-yard line. He can get up there.
Well, every yard's a big yard when you get down inside that 4-yard line. That dive was worth the yard. The whole play was stopped at the line of scrimmage. There was nothing there. He went up, bent over. Now they're inside the 2.
Second down, goal to go. Game tied 9-9. 10 minutes to play. The Bears were the underdogs today. Harper. Touchdown, Roland Harper.
He just squirted through the right side, Curt. Excellent drive. Avellini completed 4 balls on the way for about 65 yards. It's as well as I've ever seen him throw the ball. Got plenty of time from his offensive line. That's one of the few drives the Bears have put together with very little production on the ground.
This backfield was built in 1975. They all came in together. Avellini, Harper scoring here, and Walter Payton. They've been intact, and they'll be around for some time. They've missed the point earlier. That was right at the end of the half. This one is up. He drills that one, and the Bears have taken the lead on an outstanding 80-yard drive to open the 4th period. Timeout, 10 minutes to play. It's the Bears 16 and the Raiders 9. Well, that was the picture drive. 10 plays, 80 yards. Avellini engineered him, and the Bears in the lead. Whittington and Brunson are back. The low kick is coming to Brunson on the 6. He's out to the 20. He's to the 30. Still going. He brings it back. Spilled out on the 36 by Lenny Waldersheim. And the Raiders now will try and move it.
You notice in the second half, you get the feeling that the scoring is not over. They've been effectively running the ball up and down the field. They hadn't been able to get it in. They just broke the ice, and I don't think it's over.
That's Bob Thomas who's down, the place kicker. Raiders ball on their 36. They'll have the first down. 21-9 San Francisco in the 3rd quarter, and we had a report that O.J. Simpson injured his knee in that game and left the field.
It's been a long season for both those clubs. That would be the one that breaks the back.
First down Raiders. Terry Robisky running left. Couple of yards. Tommy Hart stopped him, number 53.
I think Tommy just exposed what great speed he does have. He came clear over from his left end position, trailed the play, and stopped it. As soon as the man cut back, he had it dead to rights. I've seen him do that time and again.
These two teams have met twice regular season games. The Raiders have won both, but tight ones, 27-21 and 28-27. Another tight one here. Tabor on second down. Fires to Bradshaw. And that pass will be called complete at the 48-yard line of the Raiders. Morris Bradshaw hit by Terry Schmidt. Now they've moved it over to the Bears 48. An update, Denver 21, Seattle 7, 4th period. Bradshaw's caught 6 balls today for 61 yards. And Branch skips out of bounds for a short gain on the 46. Second coming. 8 to go for the Raiders. Like the Bears have found him a linebacker in that Gary Campbell on the outside right.
You bet they have. And you'll notice they haven't thrown the ball very often to their own left. And it's because his drop has been excellent. He's been in good pass defense position all day long. So you have to take up 3 yards where you might have been able to get 8.
You saw the time, 8:31 to go. The Bears ahead, 16-9. Raiders in possession. There he is. And that is an incomplete pass. He broke it up. Bradshaw had it. Schmidt, last second surge, broke it up. As a receiver. 3 wide receivers in the game now for the Raiders. Robisky leaves. Van Egan. The lone setback. Branch, Bradshaw, Biletnikoff spread out. 3rd and 8. There's Branch, first down at the 30. Branch stops the clock as he steps out of bounds.
There is no pass coverage, Curt, that can stand up to a 6-second passing game. That time his offensive line gave him great protection, allowed him to step up in the pocket. There was nobody there. Branch ran 35 yards down the field, 12 back, and still got the ball.
John, 5 or 6 years ago, Staver probably would have run that time. He had a wide open field ahead of him to get a first down.
I don't think he could have picked up 25 yards on the play if he was still running.
Oakland's ball now on the Chicago 25. It's the Raiders on the drive now. The Bears have just gone 80 yards for a touchdown. The pass thrown low on a post pattern to Cliff Branch, who was cutting at the goal line. And Kenny knew that. It was underthrown.
Yeah, but it was a very difficult pattern to execute. It was a zone defense with both deep men in perfect position. He had to throw the ball where he did, give Branch his only chance to get it, and come back and try again.
Litnikoff is out. We told you about a Terry Bradshaw knee injury. It's a sprained knee. They say he'll play next Sunday. 2nd down 10 for Oakland. This is Whittington. 25, 20, Whittington. It stays in bounds. They keep the clock moving. These two around the 19, 18-yard line. Doug Plank knocked him down, along with Doug Buffone, the left linebacker.
In normal situations, this would be a passing down with 3rd down and a long 2 to go. However, they've got 2 downs. They can't go for a field goal with under 8 minutes to play. They have to go for the touchdown. I don't think it's a passing down. I think you'll see the left side of the line trying to do their thing again.
Well, it must be, John. They're getting that rookie powerhouse tight end Derek Ramsey in the game, 84. He goes to the right. Raymond Chester's on the left. Casper's not been back in since he was shaken up. 3rd and 2. Whittington cutting. Whittington close to the first down. Either way.
Well, they went to the left. It's very predictable. You say, well, geez, you know they're going to the left. Why don't you stop them? It's one thing to know, and it's another thing to stop them.
And they may want a measurement. That's what we're going to have here at Soldier Field. 7 minutes, 15 seconds to play a perfect fall afternoon for football. The Bears have just taken the lead on an 80-yard drive early in the 4th period. Now the Raiders are coming back, and he has it. Forward part of that ball over the measurement stick. Raiders ball on the Bear 15-yard line.
And this is where it's tough. Oakland hasn't been as effective this year once it gets inside the 20 as they were accustomed to in the past. Couldn't be a better time to start for Oakland.
Bradshaw spreads to the right, Branch to the left. It's a draw play. And that's Tom Hicks who smelled that one out and stopped Arthur Whittington. Got him behind the line. A loss of 5. It'll be 2nd down, 15. Good play. Tom Hicks of Illinois, his 3rd year. He leads the team in tackles, by the way, with 32.
Here comes Freddie Blitnikoff in the game again, so you know they're going with their 3 wide receivers. Whittington just went out.
Jerry Muckensturm has come in, and out is Osborne. It'll be a 3-4 defense now for the Bears. 4 linebackers. 2nd down, 15. Time. He has the time. A 5-6-yard gain. Gary Pensick wrapping up Cliff Branch. It's on the 14-yard line of the Bears. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Again goes out. Vanasak is in. 21-12. San Francisco leading Cincinnati. Ken Anderson started that game at quarterback for the first time this year. 13 minutes to play. Right now we have a 3rd and 9 for the Oakland Raiders on the Bear 14. Trying to get to Staver. They can't. He's got Chester. Chester yanked around. May have the first down at the 5-yard line.
He's got
Raymond Chester. He's been a great pickup. They traded Ciani to Baltimore for Chester. They wanted a backup to Casper. Also, they wanted him for the double tight end offense.
And you bet. In short yardage situations, when you have 2 threats like Casper and also Chester, you've got a pair.
And we just received word. We told you Casper had not been back in after a reception. He was shaken up. He will not return to action today. First and goal to go. Oakland on the Chicago 5-yard line. Time, 4:50 to play. The Bears are ahead, 16-9. John Madden up there at the top of your screen. Stabler looks them over. Gives it to Robisky. Robisky at the 5. Robisky scores. Terry Robisky over. Look at Madden now.
2 beautifully executed drives in a row. Avellini directs him down the field for 75 yards. Stabler gets good field position. 65-yard drive on his next possession. And the ball game has a good chance of being tied up.
That was a 69-yard. Here's Robisky going over. He had the blocking, and he powers it in. So now the kick by Earl Mann can tie it up. And that missed extra point at the end of the half. The Bears scored a touchdown on a blocked field goal. 71-yard run by Spivey for the touchdown, and they missed the extra point right at the end of the half. It is up, and it's tied. So here we are in a tie game. We'll be back with a score. The Bears 16 and the Raiders 16. Well, they ought to match these two teams up all the time, the way they play against each other.
I'll tell you, they play close ball games. What was it last time? 28-27.
Thomas's field goal hit a right upright. Seconds to go. Bringing the ball out. Hey, he's got the hole.
He's gone.
Breaking loose. Wallerscheid being chased by Joe Stewart. Joe Stewart, the rookie, dragging him down from behind.
That's where that good speed can help you, Curt. As Wallerscheid got the ball, he hit the hole, hoped it opened up. It did just in time. He got through. If it weren't for Neil Colsey's great speed, he'd have been long gone, but they've got an excellent position. You can see he just takes his shot. Hope the wedge opens a hole, baby. It opens it up, and he's gone. Gets rid of Ray Guy. And here's Joe Stewart. I tell you, anybody else but Joe, I doubt that they'd have caught him.
He runs 109.4, Joe Stewart. He caught him from behind. 81-yard run by Lenny Wallerscheid. First down, Chicago. They're on the Oakland 16-yard line. A tie game, 16 all. Walter Payton cutting back, hammered down inside the 15. Ted Hendricks jumping on him there. George Hallis, 83 years old, pioneer, owner, the National Football League. Down. 9 to go. Bears just over the Oakland 15. Flips it off to Payton. He's down on the 14-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 8. The tackle by John Matuzak, the left end.
You can see the enthusiasm's picking up, particularly on the defensive side for Oakland. You can see Villapiano's getting after it. It reminds you of the same thing Lambert does. When the game gets tight, he seems to really get after it down in Pittsburgh. Oakland's got the same sort of people playing defense, and I'm sure when they get the ball back, Hicks is going to be excited on his side. Something bad could happen. I would have a go at it anyway.
Now the crowd rising to their feet here. They're going to run it, no chances. And they send Harper up the middle.
And he almost picked up a first down. He can't be more than 2 feet short.
They're signaling out there. It's about a foot or two short. It's 4th down. Here's the field goal kicker coming on, Thomas.
The offense doesn't like it, but they're not making the decision. They may not leave the field.
They may measure this. They are.
It's awfully close.
Look at Monty Johnson, number 58. They are short. They're short by, half yard. 4th down. Brian Baschnagel will hold for him. "24 yards this one. That could send the Bears out in front. It's down. It's up. It is good. And the Bears have the lead.
This baby's going back and forth. I still get the feeling it isn't over yet.
Well, now we'll see what the Raiders can do. We'll be back in Chicago. 19-16, Chicago. Time permitting, the Sperry NFL report will follow this game. The field goal came with 2:36 to go. One of the clocks is not working right now. This is a line drive. And it's taken by Whittington on the 5. He got to the 20. He finds a little bit of room. Not like Wallerscheid did, though, who ran the kickoff back 81 yards to set up the field goal. Mike Spivey made the tackle. Right now, the kicking game has paid off for the Bears. They blocked a Oakland field goal attempt at the end of the first half, ran it back 71 yards for a touchdown. They broke a long kickoff return of 81 to set up the field goal to put them ahead.
And on the Raiders side, both of their returns of the last 2 kickoffs have put them in good field position up around the 35-yard line. And for a quarterback, that's very important yardage.
There's Earl Mann. He's kicked 3 field goals today. First down, Oakland. Tabor goes right to work. Look at the time. He throws. He completes it to Robisky coming out of the backfield. He's hauled down in the 37. Short yardage, 4-yard gain, and Lenny Wallerscheid tackled him from Southern Utah State. We have the 2-minute warning. Timeout once more. There's Dave Casper, 87, injured in the 3rd period, has not come back. However, Raymond Chester did the job coming in for him. Casper caught 2 for 40 yards. There's Earl Mann. He's had 3 field goals. Thomas has kicked 2 today. He's 9 out of 9 field goals now for the season. He missed 1 extra point. The first kick he's missed of either extra points or field goals. And when play is resumed, with 2 minutes to play, it'll be 2nd down and 6 to go. 3 wide receivers on the field. They've pulled Whittington back out again. They'll go with a passing game. And they get in field goal range or something. They got the rush on him. They dump him. That's Mike Hartenstein, 73, that reached him for a big sack.
Brad Scher's got his share also, Curt.
2nd sack for the Bears, 1 for the Raiders. Raiders have not had a turnover in this game, and yet they're trailing. So the Raiders have 2 timeouts left, and our time remaining 1:54. Been a wild 4th period. Vikings won today. They beat Tampa Bay. The Bears hold on. They'll be tied with the Packers for the lead in the Central Division of the National Football Conference. 3rd and 18. Stabler pitches it out. He completes it to Bradshaw. Bradshaw's down, short of a first down, and the Raiders will have to go for it now.
He picked up his share, about 4 yards to go for a first down. Bradshaw had no option. He had to come back on the ball. It was a well-thrown ball. He was closely covered. You'll see him go way down the field to make his break. At this point, he is past the first down marker. However, uses his head, comes back on the ball, makes sure he gets the reception. 1 more good play is what they need to keep their drive alive.
It is 4th down and 3 for Oakland. They go for it from their 39. They have to. The blitz is on. The pass is complete for a first down to the 46-yard line. Cliff Branch got it, and he went down to be sure to nestle that ball into his stomach.
And that one breakdown when Hartenstein made his sack is one of the few times I've ever seen the Oakland offensive line not give Stabler plenty of time the last 2 minutes. On the next 2 plays, they gave him more than enough time. He completes the balls, and they've still got control.
Branch has caught 7 today. Bradshaw's caught 7.
I think the Bears have shown that they have taken that last step to the point where they can beat a contending team, and that's the impressive thing to the Chicago people.
Stabler out with it. Bradshaw drops the ball. Jarred loose by Wallerscheid, who's turning out to be a late-game hero for the Chicago Bears.
They're playing a 5-back defense. Wallerscheid's job is to shadow Bradshaw all over the field, and he has not let him out of his sight.
It is now 2nd down 10.
Here we go. Plenty of time for Stabler to throw the ball. He allows Bradshaw to get down the field, make his break. Wallerscheid's all over the top of him and strips him of the ball.
2nd down, Raiders on their 46, 10 to go. They're trailing 19 to 16. 1 minute and 2 seconds remain. He unloads. He's got Branch. Branch at the 30. Branch trying to get out of bounds. Can't do it. A first down.
Broken pattern. Branch is supposed to come across the middle on the play. Actually, Stabler had to hold up. He watched him. He saw he waited just long enough to allow Branch cut back outside as he was covered on the inside. He hit him. They're not taking timeout. They're getting underway from the 26.
36 seconds to go. First down. Sideline. Bradshaw out of bounds. Stops the clock on the 17. That's the 8th catch for Bradshaw and 8 for Branch. And there's the place kicker, Errol Mann.
Very well executed all day long. Neither quarterback's thrown an interception. Has been extremely effective in the last half. A well-played game.
And out is Walderscheid, whose dramatic 81-yard kickoff return set up the go-ahead field goal. It's on the 17-yard line of the Bears. Second down, a yard to go for the Raiders. Banasak has replaced Van Egan as the lone setback. He's got the time. He's got the receiver, Biletnikoff. He's down on the 7. And the time is down to 20 seconds. The Raiders rush in and take their last timeout.
Little delay pattern for Freddie. You see Buffon come out, doesn't quite take the proper angle. Biletnikoff gets underneath both Buffon and Hicks. He's got Plank screened off from the play, and he picks up a first down inside the 10-yard line. The timeouts are gone. We've got 20 seconds left.
20 seconds.
Time for 3 pass plays, all in the end zone.
In motion. Bradshaw. Flag down. It's a touchdown, but I believe Bradshaw's in motion. I believe he went forward when he went in motion. I think he went forward. This may be called back.
We're getting a touchdown.
I saw him dip forward. It's coming back. 14 seconds, he caught the ball, but he started forward, I'm sure, on his motion. He took a dip toward the line of scrimmage. You can't do that.
Well, we'll see. He made an excellent catch of the ball to keep his feet in. All for naught.
Illegal motion.
You're right.
Watch it now. Watch him go forward. He has to run lateral or backwards. And that's when he started forward, right there, just before the snap. In fact, he looked like he was mixed up on the thing when he started over. A great catch by him. He wiped out. That was the go-ahead touchdown. So now it is first down and 12 to go for an Oakland touchdown. Time remaining, 14 seconds. Bears ahead by 3. He throws. Broken up. Intended for Bradshaw. Broken up by Terry Smith. Time is down to 9 seconds.
Stabler made a good play just to find somebody to throw it to. Had he gone down, the ball game's over. They've got time for one more. They're not going to take that option. They're going to kick the field goal at this place, and I think they're doing the right thing.
All right, Errol Mann has come on. Chance to tie it up. He's kicked 3 field goals already. Bob Thomas put the Bears ahead, 2:36 to go with a 24-yard field goal. This is a 29-yard attempt. 9 seconds to go. It is a tie game. 19-19.
I'll tell you, that's putting the pressure on a man and having him come through. Errol Mann's 4 for 4 for the day.
And once again,
here we go again.
2 questions answered today we asked. What about Stabler? He's shown today there's nothing wrong with Kenny Stabler. What about Walter Payton? He's had a remarkable day. Both of them, the real pros they are, have come out and put on quite a show.
It's been a remarkably well-played game. Both teams deserve to win, but when both teams are playing that well, it can end in a tie for the 5th, huh?
If is right. The kickoff now by Ray Guy. Mike Morgan is the deep man. This is Spivey. They're trying to keep him in bounds, and they do. He's tackled by Arthur Whittington, number 22. And that's the regulation time. We're going into overtime. An extra period now during regular season. Harper going out. The phone. Let's listen to the coin toss. The Bears aren't out there yet.
captain's going to call a coin in the air. Tails. It's a head. Chicago won the toss.
The Raiders called tails. It came up heads. The Bears win the toss. The Raiders will kick it off. Another wild Chicago-Oakland game.
3 hours and 5 minutes, and the game's just getting underway.
They're just getting warmed up out there. Ray Guy will kick off. And going back will be Morgan and Spivey. Walterscheid was shaken up, so he won't be returning this game. I want to thank Joe Costanza for the research statistics today. Here's Ray Guy, and we're looking at this one from our end zone camera in back of the Bears offense. Extra period, here we go. A squibbler. Handle at the 20, fumble around. Trouble picking it up. And down they go on the 28-yard line as Greg Latta, the tight end. The kick was covered by Jeff Barnes, a very fleet young linebacker that is a player of the future for the Oakland Raiders. Bears ball on their 28-yard line. First down. Any score, safety, field goal, or a touchdown, and that's it. We had the dramatic sixth-period game in Baltimore last year. The over-the-shoulder catch by Dave Casper. Remember that one? Avellini, play action. Out to Scott. On a hitch pattern. Bumped out of bounds on his 37.
A quick screen is primarily the execution of the quarterback. He made a good fake, planted through in the same motion. He got him quick enough so that he could get started. They picked up a fast 9, and they're in good field position.
Second down for Chicago. A yard to go on their own 37-yard line in overtime. 19-19. Kicking game has been all important today. 4 field goals by Land, 2 by Thomas. Blocked field goals, kickoff return. Walter Payton slithers through for a first down. Brings it out.
The last 4 times anybody's had the ball, they've scored. This is the 5th possession. You get the feeling neither defense can stop the other team's offense at this point in the ball game. Payton makes a good play right at the point of attack. Good blocking. Hendricks has to come over from the offside and make the play, but not before it gained 4.
First down, Chicago on their 43. 40 seconds gone in overtime. Normal setup now. Avellini faking, looking, quick toss to Payton. Payton is hit by Monty Johnson out of bounds on the 47. Monty Johnson took him out. Houston rallied to defeat Cleveland 16-13. Second down 6 for the Bears on their 47. Short yardage that time. Roland Harper stopped up the middle. Atlanta came from behind to upend the Giants 23-20. Buffalo, an improving team, beat Kansas City 28-13. Chandler returned and caught 2. Minnesota wins over Tampa Bay 24-7. Philadelphia nipped Baltimore 17-14. Los Angeles remains undefeated over New Orleans 26-20. An easy win. Green Bay lost only 1 game this year. Beat the Lions 35-14. 3rd and 3 on the Bear 49. Avellini will throw for it. Lobs it out there. They get it to Payton. Payton is down. There's a penalty marker down. Flag is down. Well, let's see what this one's about. Mike McCoy and Charles Phillips teamed up for the tackle.
Boy, this is a big penalty.
That's clipping against the Bears. Now that would bring up a 4th down. A 4th down and about 2.5 if they decline the penalty. A couple of more scores. Denver rolling along, defeating Seattle 28-7. The Broncos have lost only 1. And there's our last one. They're playing in the 4th quarter. 49ers 28, Cincinnati 12. O.J. Simpson did not return for the second half with a bad knee.
49ers finally get off the schneid.
And this one is 19-all in the 5th period. Sudden victory.
Okay, if they hadn't taken the penalty, it would have been 4th down and about 2.5.
Clipping number 69. That's 3rd down.
Reeve Sorey, the right guard, did the clipping.
But now they give him an extra down, Curt. However, they're betting that, hey, put the ball up in the air. We feel we can get a turnover as well as you can pick up 18, 19 yards. And if it isn't complete, you have to kick it to us. We get good field position, and that's very important at this stage of the ball game.
There are 6 secondary backs on the field for the Oakland Raiders. This is the 3rd down and 20 for the Bears. Avellini dropping deep. Throws the bomb. And it's out of reach of everyone. Charlie Phillips backpedaling to defend against Golden Richards, number 83. The Bears have to give it up.
It was the kind of pass that looked bad if you're a fan because no one was in the area. However, Avellini got a pretty good pass rush. He had nobody to throw to. He threw it over the whole crew, and I think he did the right thing.
13-15 to play in the extra period. In regular season, they only play 1. In punt formation is Parsons. Neither team has punted much this half. There's the kick. A good one. Moving back to Colsey. Neil Colsey on his 12. The 15 to the 20. Colsey out to the 25. And is upended there in the 25-yard line. And down covering the kick is Lenny Walderscheid.
Some kind of Hummer.
First down in the 25. And that's Gary Campbell on the tackle of Mark Van Egan. That puts the ball on the Raider 27-yard line. 2nd and 8. You know, when Stabler had that last gasp drive, he took it over on the 33. They had the touchdown call back, and then the field goal. Second down, 8. Stabler gives the ball off. Terry Robisky trying to get outside. Ooh! Is he hit out there by Doug Blank, the free safety, number 46.
He came a long way, had him in his sight from the time he got the ball. They just met at the sideline. Robisky never did see Plank. Here we come. You can see he's already run 20 yards. He knows Robisky's trying to get outside.
Now the Raiders have picked up only 3 yards in 2 tries. Robisky goes out, and they put the 3 wide receivers on the field.
It should be remembered that Dave Casper is not in the ball game, and usually in this sort of situation, he's a very key factor.
3rd and 7. Incomplete. Harry Schmidt taking it away, banging it to the ground. Schmidt, French with the receiver, and Schmidt was on him. Here's the punt now by Ray Guy. Steve Schubert is the safety man. The wind has died down. Just a slight breeze at Ray Guy's back. High twisting punt. Schubert on the 23. To the 25. They get coverage, and he's belted down. And that is number 56 down there, Jeff Barnes, with an excellent coverage of that punt. Game tied 19-all, 12:07 to play in this 5th period, and the Bears have the ball in their own territory on their 23-yard line. For the first down, Oakland jamming the middle. Walter Payton carried the ball out to his 25 and his 26, where they finally spot him down. That was today at the end of the half. All right, here comes Payton. He is stopped. There's a flag down. Walter Payton running the sweep. They dropped the flag on somebody. Otis Sistrunk. Tatum came up to assist him from the free safety spot.
Villapiano's a little slow getting up, but he does get up.
And they're talking it over. 11:26 remaining in this 5th period. Right after this game is over, we'll join the wonderful world of Disney. The show will be seen in its entirety, part 1, In Search of the Castaways. And following that, Centennial will also be seen in its entirety on NBC. Bentley going against the Bears. Ben Bright.
Offensive holding, number 88. 2nd down.
Greg Latta. Greg Latta, the tight end, held. That pushes the Bears back to their 19-yard line. They have a second down. Second and 14. Look at those penalties.
They need to do something to get out of this hole, Curt, because that field position would be too nice for Oakland if they had to turn it over.
Uh-oh, there's a sack on Avellini, and there's Ted Hendricks. Hendricks came in, saw. I think they were trying to set up a reverse.
It was just a plain little play-action pass. He was going to back to throw, and the only man he saw was Hendricks as soon as he came off the fake. Nobody touched him. It had to be a blown assignment.
Now it's third down and 19, and 6 backs come onto the field for the Oakland Raiders. That's it. And only 1 extra period during the regular season. This were in the playoffs, they keep playing. Well, somebody got it. It is third and 19.
Little change of ball.
And over that ball is Dan Neal. He got the job. He replaced a man named Pfeiffer, who had to call it a career because of an injury sustained when he was kicked by a cow. I've heard of a lot of ways to get out of the lineup. Here's Avellini fading. He goes down the middle. Intercepted! Colsey! 20! Colsey on the 10! Colsey to the 3-yard line, and the Raiders have it. Neal Colsey intercepts.
Here's the guy, Neal Colsey, has not been able to contribute to the Raider production over the past 2 or 3 years like he was expected to when he came out of Ohio State. This is the biggest play that he has contributed all year long. It couldn't have come at a more perfect time. Let's take a look at how the play developed. Colsey's the 5th back in a situation where he's all over the field, covering the tight end wherever he goes. Just he and the tight end, picks the ball off, puts Oakland in the driver's seat.
And now a very quiet crowd in Soldier Field, Chicago. The Oakland Raiders, there's a timeout on the field, have a first down and goal to go, and they're on the Chicago Bear 3-yard line. 10:44 to play. Avellini's first interception of the game.
He was in a tough, it was his second one actually, Curt, but he was in a very tough situation. He couldn't get trapped back on the 1 or 2 yard line. Tried to make a great play. As a result, he made a wrong one, but the ball was not badly thrown, just an excellent coverage job.
I'm going back in again. The executive producer of today's game is Don Omeyer. Today's game produced by Larry Cirillo and Ted Nathanson. Been directed by Ted Nathanson. Technical director has been Horace Rez. And the associate director, Jim Marconi. All of our cameramen, our audio men, the entire technical crew of NBC Television, we thank them for their outstanding coverage of today's overtime game. 2 tight ends will be in there for the Oakland Raiders. Derek Ramsey and Raymond Chester.
The situation does look a little bleak, as you can see by the expression on the fellows at the sideline. However, this ball game is not over. There are no automatics.
Well, the Raiders found that out earlier at the end of the first half. There's Avellini. You can see the close-ups here now. The lights are on. What lights there are here at Soldiers Field. Stabler is talking to John Madden, who is the calmest he's been today.
Well, I'll tell you, they're just discussing whether they want to kick a field goal right now or whether they want to take a go and run in the ball, try to get a touchdown. Madden has decided in the past on several different occasions on 2nd down and 3rd down to go ahead and kick the field goal.
Once against Pittsburgh, I remember,
right,
in a desperate measure in a frozen field in Pittsburgh.
Those field goals aren't automatic.
There's their old man. He's been the man today. All right, they're lining up with the tight ends in there. They're not going to get much yardage in this one. Maybe that's Pete Banaszak, the old vet who can smell the end zone. He's down to the 1-yard line. 2nd down, a yard to go for a touchdown. 10:30 to go in overtime. Lionel Antwine, number 79.
Good to see him healthy again.
He's had a bad knee. First start today since 1976. 2nd down, a yard to go. And they stop Pete Banaszak. He's short. It'll be 3rd down and maybe a yard and a half now.
I think he actually lost about a yard on that play.
They're sending Whittington in. They're sending Van Egan in. Just mean they could go outside with Whittington?
They could go anywhere. You know they're not going to put the ball in the air.
I know one thing they've said, don't fumble.
I don't think they said that. You know, it's interesting you mention it. It's like whenever you mention not to do something, what's the immediate thing you do? If somebody said that in the huddle to me, I think I'd kick them out of it.
3rd and 2 for a touchdown. Whittington outside. He's going. He's gone. It's all over. The Oakland Raiders win it in overtime. Whittington races his left in 2 yards for the touchdown. And it's a Oakland Raider 25-19 victory. The Raiders tied it with 4 seconds to go in regulation. Curt, Gowdy, and John Brodie, thank you very much for looking in. There goes Whittington. We'll join the wonderful world of Disney as we